Howdy folks, it's Zach, and welcome again to I've started a new level 60 character series, but where do I start from here? Videos. So, this is now, we've gotten to the point where we have exited out of the story missions, we have taken our character to the fleet, we've rearranged our HUD, so hopefully you guys have spent some time figuring out where you kind of like things. If you've used mine as an example, that's great. If you went a completely different direction, that's fine as too. If you didn't change a thing, that's fine as well. But I at least wanted to get those tools into your hands so that way you didn't start the very first mission in the story. And when you get started on that mission, you can check out my Guardian playthroughs of Chapter 1. You're basically right into the action, and there's not a lot of time to figure things out before you're immediately starting to fight things. So I wanted to give you guys a chance to, step out of that and find out what resources you have available and start putting things together before you even step into the missions. Okay? Alright, so here we are. My character, I have my HUD exactly the way I like it. I'm feeling really good about the open space. I have a companion out there by my side. Okay, I've got my starting gear of item rating 188. Now, the next thing is my move set. Where do I put them on my hotbars and how do I start key binding? So let's talk a little bit about the key binding and placement of items first. This is me personally, I put my top two hotbars right here underneath my character. And because I'm a sniper, you're going to notice one other thing. When I go down into a crouch and take cover, a new hotbar goes into place. This is the only character class that does that. All right, so what I do personally is I usually put the save moveset in both. At the level 60 level, you have pretty much all of your core abilities, and I find that I use pretty much all the DPS moves from cover. I also use those when they're out of cover. They made those changes. So there's only a few key items now that you can't use out of cover as a sniper. But for your purposes, what you have here in bar 1 won't change for the most part. So that is where you'll be placing most of your big budget DPS items. Down here in this lower bar, this is actually one that I use on my mouse, and you can see here that for my top buttons, that is equal to my 1 through equal sign on my keyboard, and you can easily see 1 and the equal sign. It's very clearly marked. Down here, though, there are no markings. Same things with the items on the side. And what I want to do is I want to bind these keys to my mouse. All right. I use a gaming mouse. Some of you may be using them out there too. I personally use a WoW Cataclysm mouse. It's really old, but I'm really used to the way it feels and the way it plays. And what I've done already with my computer is I've preset the keys on my number pad to correspond with buttons on my mouse, okay? So that way when I'm in the game, anytime I click on one of these mouse buttons, the game registers it as one of the number pad buttons. So here's how to start setting up some keybinds. First off, I can either go to the game menu or I can just click escape, alright? And I'm gonna go to preferences. And from here, I have several different tabs at the bottom. I've been to this screen already, so it went immediately to the keybinds tab, but a lot of times it'll start here in the game tab. Just go ahead and click on keybinds, and for my purposes, I'm going to go to quick bar. Alright, quick bars are these action bars. It's for you and your companion, and I want to show you two things. First off, my main quick bar is already set. That's the 1 through equal sign keys that we already talked about. I want to scroll down to quick bar number 2. Alright, and here's all I need to do, because I've already preset the way my mouse works. You may have to configure this with your mouse or figure out how to do it specifically for this game, but since I've already done the legwork on my mouse, I can just step into the game and go ahead and set these keys, which I'm going to do right now. So right now I'm just tapping buttons on my mouse to go ahead and set these keys. 4, 5, 6. Ta-da! Okay, to make sure, before you exit the screen, always make sure that if you made changes, click apply first, alright? I'm also going to scroll down a little bit further, and my companion's quick bar is listed all the way at the bottom, companion quick bar slot 1. Alright, so their slots 1 through, 10 or so. Only the first few are visible here. But number one is their command to attack. And one of the things I like doing, this is just a pro tip for you as well, I like to add in a secondary bind to that for something on my keyboard I can easily hit. This is going to give me a little bit of a finer tuning control over my companion and what they're attacking and what they're doing. You can do all of their abilities, you can do none of their abilities, but their first two abilities on their bar are their attack stance and their passive stance. And if you have something targeted and you tell your companion to attack it, it will, and that will enter you and your companion into combat. Sometimes if I have a companion in a tanking stance, that's a really handy function to just be able to say like, hey, go attack that guy. And once they get started, then I can start wheeling up with my DPS. Or if I have them in a DPS stance, same difference. You can bind a healing skill to that, so that way you can target yourself and then click that healing button for your companion, and they can start healing you. There's a lot of options there, but I want to show you that this is there, and since you do have companions that are available to you in this process that I'm showing you, then I want you to be able to use them effectively. So I'm going to go ahead and just click apply, and voila, you can see that my secondary quick bar has now changed. Alright, so now all of these buttons are bound to keys on my mouse, which is a good thing. Alright, so next up, that is key binding. That works for any one of the hotbars that you've set up so far. I do encourage you to take some time to configure that how you like. Some people have gaming keypads and mouse that may take a little bit of finesse, but I do recommend taking at least 2 action bars, one for your 1 through equal sign and one for your gaming mouse, or at least a readily, easy to hit, action bar for your, action items, and preset those with stuff that I can get to in a hurry. Alright, in the next video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set up a sniper, and I'll be moving things around on my screen so you can kind of see how that looks. But the first things first, make sure that you have everything bound to your keys and your mouse the way you want to before you start moving things around. Alright, thanks guys very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, we'll be getting a little bit more into the action-y items pretty soon, but right now it's all set up, okay? So if you've never played this game before, hopefully you're finding this very helpful. If you've played this game a lot, then you probably know most of this, but I'll have some stuff coming up down the line that maybe will help you out as well too. Alright guys, you take care. This is Zach. Feel free to like my page and use that new friend referral link. And